Ashlyns Unsurprise Party by Valerie Tripp, illustrated by Thu Thai. A Wellie Wisher's book. Chapter 1. Ashlyns Surprise. Skip, skippity skip, Ashlyn skipped into the garden. It was a bright and breezy day, and Ashlyn was in a happy hurry to join her friends, the Wellie Wishers. She had a perfectly wonderful surprise for them. "Look, everyone," said Ashlyn. "Jump ropes. There's one for each of us." "Hooray!" cheered Ashlyn's friends. "Thanks," they said as she handed out the ropes. "Thank you, thank you, thank you," said Emerson, who liked to say things 3 times. Soon the Wellie Wishers were jumping rope all over the garden. Suddenly Camille stood still. "Hey!" she said. She looked at something in her hand and said again louder, "Hey!" "What?" asked the girls. "Look," said Camille. "My front tooth fell out." "Let's see," squealed her friends. They gathered around Camille to look at the falling out tooth. "Ooh!" they cooed. "How'd it happen?" asked Kendall. "Well," said Camille, "I just wiggled it like this." Camille opened her mouth and wiggled her other front tooth to show the girls. Then she made up a little rhyme. "I wiggled it and jiggled it a little bit, just wiggled it and jiggled it a little bit." And her friends asked, "You wiggled it and jiggled it a little bit, just wiggled it and jiggled it a little bit." And Camille wiggled her other front tooth some more and answered, "Yep, wiggled it and jiggled it a little, hey." Camille stopped singing. "Yiketh," she said with a brand new lisp. "Look, my other front tooth came out." Chapter 2. Two. "Oh, you lucky ducky," said Emerson. 2 teeth in 1 day. "Now the tooth fairy will find 2 teeth under your pillow," said Ashlyn. Camille smiled, and all the Wellie Wishers grinned at her. "Now your smile is bigger than ever," said Kendall. "Yeth," said Camille. She sighed. "Maybe I should have wiggled and jiggled though much. I'll myth though teeth. I've had them since I was a baby." Ashlyn could tell that Camille wasn't entirely happy about losing her teeth. She wished she could make Camille feel better. Suddenly Ashlyn had an idea. The Wellie Wishers should have a party. A party always made everyone feel better about everything. "Let's celebrate," Ashlyn said, clasping her hands together. "Let's have a party. We'll call it the 2 Teeth Out Tea Party. Would you like that, Camille?" "Oh, yeth," said Camille. "I love partith." "And after the tea party we have a sleepover, if Aunt Miranda says it's okay," said Ashlyn. "We'll sleep out under the stars." "A sleepover, hooray!" cheered the Wellie Wishers. Ashlyn smiled. She could picture every single teeny tiny detail of her party for Camille. Everything would be just so. And she imagined her party. Ashlyn made up a little rhyme. "Oh, the sun will shine in a bright blue sky, just so. My friends will be happy, and so will I, just so. We'll wear best dresses and flowery crowns, just so. We'll eat pretty treats that we pass around, just so. Oh, everything will be just so wonderfully, just so perfectly, just so." Ashlyn couldn't wait. The Wellie Wishers would be so pleased and so surprised. "A tea and sleepover party. Oh, I love it. It's wonderful," exclaimed Emerson, twirling. "Let's put on a show all about teeth. We can recite Camille's wiggle jiggle rhyme, and we can pretend to be tooth fairies. We'll call our show 2 Loose Tooths. Get it? We'll wear tutus and—" "Well," Ashlyn began, "your idea is funny, but it's not—" Kendall interrupted. "I'll decorate the wagon and Camille can ride in it." "No," said Ashlyn. "I already—" Willie popped up. "We could have the party in the woods," she said. "We can use a tree stump as a table and eat berries and honey and—" "No," said Ashlyn, and this time she stamped her foot. The other Wellie Wishers were quiet. They looked at Ashlyn. Ashlyn's face was pink. She took a deep breath and said, "It's nice of you to offer to help, but the party was my idea, and I want it to be just so." Ashlyn recited her rhyme to her friends. Oh, the sun will shine in a bright blue sky. Just so. You will all be happy, and so will I. Just so. We'll wear best dresses and flowery crowns. Just so. We'll eat pretty treats that we pass around. Just so. Oh, everything will be just so wonderfully, just so perfectly, just so. Yes, but Emerson began. I already have it all planned, Ashlyn interrupted. I'll do it all myself, she explained. I want to keep my plans secret because I want the party to be full of surprises for all of you. Well, said Willa. Okay, I guess. Don't fuss too much, said Camille. I can't believe that you don't want a show, said Emerson, shaking her head. Ask for help if you need it, said Kendall. But Ashlyn was already hurrying away to ask Aunt Miranda if they could have a sleepover. She couldn't wait to begin getting ready for her party. Chapter 3. The Secret Plan. The next day, the Wellie Wishers received invitations from Ashlyn. Come to the Two-Teeth Tea Party, slumber party for Camille on Saturday. Bring your pajamas and your sleeping bag. Aren't they nice? Said Camille. Yes, I love them. They're wonderful, said Emerson. I'm glad Aunt Miranda gave permission for a sleepover, said Willa. I love to sleep out under the stars in my sleeping bag, don't you? Oh, yes, said Kendall. I prefer sleeping in a tent, said Emerson. How about you, Camille? But before Camille could answer, the girls heard a tiny, teeny ouch. The girls crept to the corner of the playhouse. They peeked around and saw Ashlyn with a big bunch of roses. Emerson whispered, Poor Ashlyn. She must have hurt her finger on a thorn. Oh, dear, that's too bad, Camille sighed softly. Someone should help her, said Willa. Ashlyn said she didn't want any help, said Kendall. She wants to keep her plan a secret. Maybe we could have a secret plan, too, said Emerson, and our secret plan would be to help Ashlyn, said all the girls at once. They grinned at one another. The girls put their secret plan into action right away. Emerson whistled as she waltzed around the corner of the playhouse. Oh, she said, as if she were surprised to see Ashlyn. Hi, Ashlyn, how's it going? Fine, said Ashlyn. I'm making flower crowns for everyone. Oh, how pretty, said Emerson, looking at the flowers. But don't forget that roses make Willa sneeze. They do, said Ashlyn. Oh, no, her party wouldn't be perfect if Willa was sneezing all the time. Hey, I have an idea, said Emerson. I could make Willa a crown out of paper stars instead. But, said Ashlyn. Please, said Emerson, I love stars. Well, okay, said Ashlyn. She grinned. We don't want Willa a-chewing, do we? No, Emerson smiled. It wouldn't be pleasing if she was sneezing. As Emerson put stars on the crown, she made up a little poem. Don't put a rose by Willa's nose, or Willa will be sneezing. Achoo, achoo, will never do. Sneezing isn't pleasing. Ashlyn laughed. Thanks, Emerson. She said she was a teeny tiny bit sorry that a teeny tiny bit of her surprise party would be unsurprising for Emerson, but she was glad that it would be better for Willa. A little while after Emerson left, Willa trip-trotted around the corner of the playhouse. Oh, she said, as if she were surprised to see Ashlyn. Hi, Ashlyn, how's it going? Fine, said Ashlyn. I'm putting nuts in a cup for everyone. I love nuts, said Willa, but nuts make Kendall break out in an itchy, scratchy, bright red spots. They do, said Ashlyn. Oh, no, her party wouldn't be perfect if Kendall broke out in red spots. Hey, I have an idea, said Willa. I could put a little sign on Kendall's nut cup that says, For the squirrels. But, said Ashlyn. Please, said Willa. You know how I love to feed the squirrels. Well, okay, said Ashlyn. She grinned. We don't want Kendall to be spotty and dotty. Absolutely naughty, agreed Willa, and she printed the sign. Willa made up a little poem. The squirrels must eat Kendall's nuts, or Kendall will get spotty. Does Kendall want an itchy rash? Absolutely naughty. Ashlyn laughed. Thanks, Willa, she said. She was a teeny tiny bit sorry that a teeny tiny bit of her surprise party would be usurping for Willa, but she was glad that it would be better for Kendall. A little while after Willa left, Kendall strolled slowly around the corner of their playhouse. Oh, she said, as if she were surprised to see Ashlyn. Hi, Ashlyn, how's it going? Fine, said Ashlyn. I'm clearing space for our sleeping bags. I can't wait to sleep under the stars, said Kendall, but Emerson prefers to sleep in a tent. She does, said Ashlyn. Oh no, her party wouldn't be perfect if Emerson wasn't content without a tent. Hey, I have an idea, said Kendall. I could make a tent for Emerson. But, said Ashlyn. Please, said Kendall. You know how I love to make stuff. Well, okay, said Ashlyn. She smiled. We want Emerson to be happy, so I'll make a tent and make it snappy, said Kendall with a grin. As Kendall put the tent together, she made up a little poem. Emerson must have a tent, or else she won't be happy. I'll pitch a tent and make it snug, and also make it snappy. Ashlyn laughed. Thanks, Kendall, she said. She was a teeny tiny bit sorry that a teeny tiny bit of her surprise party would be unsurprising for Kendall, but she was glad that it would be better for Emerson. A little while after Kendall left, Camille skipped casually around the corner of the playhouse. Oh, she said, as if she were surprised to see Ashlyn. Hi, Ashlyn. How's it going? Fine, said Ashlyn. I'm shining apples for everyone. That's nice, said Camille. Oh, no, said Ashlyn when she heard Camille's lisp. I forgot that you don't have any front teeth, so you can't eat an apple. Her party wouldn't be perfect if the guest of honor, Camille, couldn't eat the food. Hey, I have an idea, said Camille. On the day of the party, I could thank Aunt Miranda to cut the apple for me, and then I could eat it. That's a good idea, said Ashlyn. She grinned. Aunt Miranda will cut up the apple so that you can eat it slice by slice. That'll be nice, laughed Camille. Ashlyn said a little poem to her. You have lost your teeth, your 2 front teeth. Your food must come in slices. If your apple's cut apart, that will be the nicest. Thanketh, Ashlyn, Camille said as she left. Ashlyn was a teeny tiny bit sorry that a teeny tiny bit of her surprise party would be unsurprising for Camille, but she was glad that it would be a better for her. Chapter 4. Time for the Party. On Saturday, the Wellie wishers came to the garden in their very best party dresses. Ooh, they sighed with admiration when they saw Ashlyn's decorations. The tea table looks beautiful, Ashlyn, said Willa. Yes, I love it. It's wonderful, exclaimed Emerson. I like how you folded our napkins specially for us, said Kendall. They're in the shapes of things that we love. Aunt Miranda showed me how, said Ashlyn, giving each girl a crown. Thanks for remembering that roses make me sneeze, said Willa. I didn't remember, said Ashlyn. Emerson did. Emerson said, Don't put a rose by Willa's nose or Willa will be sneezing. Achoo! Achoo! Never do. Sneezing isn't pleasing. You remember that nuts make me break out in red spots, said Kendall. Nope, said Ashlyn. That was Willa, she said. The squirrels must eat Kendall's nuts, or Kendall will get spotty. Does Kendall want an itchy rash? Absolutely naughty. Did you remember that I like to sleep in a tent? Asked Emerson. Kendall did, said Ashlyn. She said, Emerson must have a tent, or else she won't be happy. I'll pitch a tent and make it snug, and also make it snappy. Well, it was you who remembered that I have no front teeth, said Camille, who by now had figured out how to talk without a lisp. You said, You have lost your 2 front teeth. Your food must come in slices. If your apple's cut apart, that will be the nicest. And it was you who worked very hard to make the party wonderful. Thank you, Ashlyn. Yes, thank you, Ashlyn, and all the other Willie Westers. Thank you, said Ashlyn. She smiled at the girls. You all helped me, she laughed, saying, and you know what? It was way more fun when you were helping me, even though it means that the party is kind of unsurprising for you. It's an unsurprise party, cheered the Wellie wishers. We love it. And all the girls chanted along with Ashlyn. The sun is shining in a bright blue sky, just so. My friends are all happy, and so am I, just so. We're wearing best dresses and flowery crowns, just so. We'll eat pretty treats that we pass around, just so. Oh, everything we see is just so wonderfully, just so perfectly, just so. Chapter 5. Surprise at the Unsurprise Party. The girls were having a terrific time until plip, 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 plop. Swish! A gusty wind whooshed through the garden, blowing the napkins and flowers off the tea table and toppling the tower of treats. Gush! Buckets of rain poured down, drenching the girls in their dresses and making the tent collapse in the middle and fall to the ground like a soggy puddle. Crack! Lightning ripped the sky in two. Kaboom! Thunder shook the ground and rattled the teacups in their saucers. As quickly as they could, the girls dashed into the playhouse. "I'm soaked!" exclaimed Emerson. "Me too," said Willa. "I'm as wet as a fish," said Camille. "I'm as squishy as a sponge," said Kendall. Ashlyn didn't say anything. She started to cry. Camille patted Ashlyn on the back. "Say, what's making you sad?" she said gently. Ashlyn gulped. "The party is ruined," she sobbed. "I hate this rain. It ruined everything." "Not everything, Ashlyn," said Willa in her soft voice. "It didn't ruin the trees and flowers. They need the rain. And just think," said Camille, "when the rain stops, there may be a rainbow and puddles to play in. Meanwhile, we're safe and cozy inside," said Kendall. "We're not cozy," said Ashlyn, sniffling a big sniffle. "We're soaking wet and shivering and—" Oh, said Emerson. "I have just had the best idea. Let's ask Aunt Miranda if we can have the party in the house, in front of the fireplace. It will be the Two Teeth out in PJ's tea party and sleepover." "Yes," cheered the other girls. Emerson's new name for the party had such a funny tongue-twisting sound that they all had to laugh, even Ashlyn. Chapter 6. Just So. The girls scurried through the rain to Aunt Miranda's house. While Aunt Miranda made a cozy fire, they changed into their pajamas and dried their hair. Then they sat by the fire in their pajamas and munched their apples. Camille sighed happily. "Leave it to Ashlyn to throw the most fun party ever," she said. "No," said Ashlyn, "leave it to the Wellie Wishers. We did this together." Suddenly, Ashlyn started to laugh. "What's funny?" asked Emerson. "This party," said Ashlyn. She asked questions and the Wellie Wishers answered. "Is the sun shining bright in a bright blue sky?" "Well, no." "But are you unhappy, or am I?" "Well, no." "Are we in best dresses and flowering crowns?" "Well, no." "Do we have pretty treats to pass around?" "Well, no." But even so, things are just so, wonderfully just so, perfectly just so. Ashlyn smiled at her friends. This party did not turn out at all the way I had thought it would. So in a way, she added, it was a surprise party after all.